Hello and welcome to the Church Pages Introduction webinar. My name is Catherine and we're just going to be spending about half an hour looking at the Church Pages system, covering some of the key features and then sharing a bit about the vision behind the initiative. So I'm hopeful that you can all hear me. And if you can't hear me, the best way to go and communicate is to use the little chat bubble. I think it's the second in from the middle at the top. So if you're having any troubles, just type in there and we'll be able to reply to you. And you should also be able to see on your screen something that says the Church Pages Introduction webinar. And if you can't see that, again, just let me know. So like I say, we'll just go and dive into what we'll be covering in the session, if that's all right. So what are we going to look at? So we're going to start by just outlining our aims and objectives. That will include just looking at the other material that we're going to cover. Then we're going to look at the Church Pages system. This will involve looking at the admin area, editing some website content, uploading a sermon, and then just doing a very whistle-stop tour of some of the other features such as calendars, member-only access, newsfeed, and social media integration. And at this point, don't worry, it's not going to be highly technical. It's just going to be a very quick overview of all of that. Then we're going to move on to looking at what you need to get started with Church Pages. I'm aware that some of you on the line have actually already started with us, but this will actually be good for you just to understand the whole process and what it means for your church and what we then will just be asking for you along the process of building a site. And we'll round it off with sharing a bit about our vision and having a time for Q&A, and then just doing a quick wrap up of everything we've covered. So I hope that's okay, and we're just going to go and dive in to the objectives. So the objectives of our time together are to understand the Church Pages system, some of the key features and what these could mean for your church. And by the end of the session, you should be able to make simple changes to a Church Pages website. That means uploading an image and adding a sermon. And you should be able to share about the Church Pages vision, and we'll point you in the direction of where to find some shareable resources about us, because we know that it's also about just talking your church through the process, because it's not just yourself. So those are our aims and objectives. Without further ado, we will crack on and look at what the Church Pages system is. So Church Pages, it's a website and content management system custom built for churches, and it's from the creators of iPages. This means that you have a front end website that you'll see on the left. So this is a church site we recently did for the Vine Church. And then a back-end admin area where you log into your church website and you can edit your content. So what you're seeing there is on the left, the front-end website, and then on the right, the back-end admin area. And within the admin area, there are a whole bunch of different things that you can do. So you can edit your content. This is where you upload sermons. And so if we just click through again, yep, this is some of the features. So on the left, the features we're going to cover are editing pages, uploading images, adding a link, and adding sermons. And on the right, we'll just come back to this in a moment and look at some of the things that we aren't covering but are available. So I'm just going to come out of these slides, and we're going to have a little look at, you should now see a website in front of you. And this is a site that, again, the one we look at, the one we do for the Vine Church. This is a lovely site to do, and it's just got lots of different links through to the church. They share a bit about them. I think I particularly like the way they do sermon downloads. And so with this website, this is lovely. This is what we call the front end. There is also a back end admin area, and they will log into that. So if you go to vinechurch.org.uk/admin/, this takes you to the admin area. And so here is the Church Pages dashboard. So every website has a dashboard where you just see at a glance everything about your site. So here is a little bit of stats, see how many visitors they're having. And after a while, you'll build up a list of your keywords as well. And what we're going to do is just go into My Site and Pages, which is where the majority of your content would be edited from. So if you click Pages, and then you should be able to see a tree view on the left-hand side with just an overview of the site. So if you click in Home, we'll be able to see these are all folders, and then you can see the content that is on that page. So here we have content that's about the church. If we want to go and edit this page, we'll just click on Edit, and you'll get up a screen here that allows you just to go and edit your content. So we said that we would show how to edit content. So commissioning is part of the initiative. The Vine Church are pleased to announce a second Sunday venue. It's really good. They have 2 different venues in 2 different places, and they could write extra sentences in about that. So I've just typed in the text there, and I'm going to click Save. And then on the website About page, which we can go to if we just open up, this is just me typing into Google the Vine Church, and if I go to About, I can see there the sentence I've just written. So again, if we go back to the back end, this is the admin area. To go and add a link, that's another thing we said we'd learn to do. If we just highlight that the text that I want to link and I click on the link button, I can then either type in a different URL. So this could be a link out to anywhere. Some people, they like to link their Facebook pages, and then other people, they like to link other pieces. And actually, what you can do also is link within your site. So if you can find a link to a sermon, for example, you could find a link to that and just say, I want to link to a sermon from November that we did about how we're going to go and open a new venue. So I can actually make a link within a page to within my site, or I can make a link externally. But just to recap, to make a link, all you do is highlight and then click the Edit Link button. Now, I'm just going to go and delete that out because actually I've realized that we don't want to have that information on there anymore. So we're going to delete that, and then we're going to click Save. So that we've covered already, editing a page, editing a link, and now we're going to look at uploading an image. So to upload an image, you simply go to the media gallery and you click on the little sidebar, and you will drag and drop an image into wherever your image should go. Most pages will have an image that goes into either the full width image here or images at the top here. This will be set up at the time of your site being built for you, so there's no need to worry about which one there is, but our team will let you know where to put that when you go live. So it literally is just a drag and a drop in, and then your image is here. You can add a caption onto your image, and I could say About Vine Church, and click OK, and you can see that that's come in there. I'm just going to, so that's just adding an image, and click Save, and then my image has been added. To delete it out, I simply click the Delete button and I click Delete. Okay, so what we've covered already then is editing a page, adding a link, adding an image, and now we're going to look at how we go and upload a sermon. So you can see that the Vine Church had sermons in their resource area, and here are their sermon downloads. And all I do is find the folder on the back end that I want to add this to. So it could be that I've had a new sermon from this Sunday. This actually was coincidentally last Sunday. But if I want to go and add up 2, because there are 2 at each venue, I would just either I can make a new page, or I can duplicate an existing page. So I'm going to duplicate this page here. I'm going to edit the titles, and this is going to be the sermon from the 6 p.m. service. And I click Edit, change my title again, and I can change the passage, and I could write something else in here. It could be about Matthew 21 instead. And I'm going to click Save Changes. And then I'm also just going to go and upload a different sermon, because if we go now to the media gallery, you can see in here we've got a sermon that's been uploaded to the audio visual gallery here. And actually what we need to do is edit that. So we just need to delete the one out that's there. And then we need to go and add a new sermon. So we do this by clicking on the sidebar on page files and uploading an image to, a file to here. Click add file. I go to my desktop. I'm going to go and find a file. This could be anything. Click start. And once that's uploaded, it'll simply be a drag and a drop into the AV section, just like that. And then I'm going to click OK. And that should be there. And you can see it on the front end. If we go to the Vine Church, resources, and you'll see there we've got two different versions. So I've just added another one here. This is the one I've just uploaded, and you'll be able to go and play that on the front end. So we've covered editing a page, adding a link, adding an image, and adding a sermon. That was very whistle stop. The other features that is useful to cover are, just have a look at how you can add your social media feeds. So the Vine Church don't have their social media on here, but what they do have is they have links out for social media. So they've got a link out to Facebook, a link out to Twitter. What they could have done is, there's a Christchurch Fulham. What they've done is add in, again, links out. They've also added in a link to their Instagram. Another way to add your Instagram in is a bit like Harbour Church, who have added their Instagram just as a feed across the bottom. So if we come down the Harbour Church site, you'll see this here. This is their Instagram feed. And if you were to click on any of these, it would take you off to their Instagram page. That's one way to add social media. The other thing that is useful to go and see, another feature that is probably one of my favorites, is a member-only access area. So say, for example, you had people in your church and they were in the worship band and you wanted to give them access to a particular part of your website for them to log in and download particular worship songs or just resources for them. You could do what Christchurch Fulham have done, and is they have a members area. So if you go to their site, you'll notice that they have something called an account area where you can log in, log out, and I've actually already logged into their site as somebody called Anne Allen. And if I go to members area, there we can see this is what I went to. Oh, I think I'm actually in the pastor's resources. Okay, members area. No, not that. And you'll see that they have a members area where you can access resources about Living Free. There are particular sermons that they let them access, and there are particular downloads that they have around emotional intelligence and other things. For them, it's really just a place to go and have an area for what they call their family, where you can access resources. And now I can see that I'm logged in, and I can log out again as well. So it would prompt me to log in if I went back to the site. So it's a really good means of actually having just a space for your church that is just for family, really, rather than the wider public. So that access only areas, and to set those up, it's just a case of us having details of the people you'd like to give access to, or it's even something you can do yourself, and we'll just show you how to go and add them in as users to your site. So yeah, that's another one of my favorite features. Apart from that, a feature that I really like is the calendar, the ability to add a calendar to a page. So you'll be able to have your iCal or your Google Calendar displayed on a page. And this can be done through just simply setting up a calendar. So you see I use iCal. In iCal, I would literally just set up a calendar and be able to feed that onto my website. So that's something that you could do too if you use calendar software in your church. We're also aware that a lot of churches use Church Suite for their calendars and their rotoring. So that then too can be integrated into your site just by sending over the details. You'll see if you go to Christchurch, they have linked in their Church Suite page here, My Church Suite. They've just linked this in at the bottom of their website as well. So that is another thing that you can do. So let's head back to our slides. So the features we covered were on the left, the editing pages, uploading images, adding a link and adding sermons. And on the right, we just briefly touched upon a few of these. So calendars, member-only login, social media integration. It is also possible for you to have a news feed on your site that you can upload and edit. It really is as simple as your page upload and edit. And then that is also possible to have resource pages and giving pages where you can just detail a bit more information about how to give to your church and share your church's vision. It's worth mentioning as well that there is an inbuilt CRM, which is a place for you to store information about your church congregation and manage communications with them. So you can store their emails, details about people, and it's all securely stored on the back of your site, and it can be a place that you could manage your comms from. So just so you know, that is in there as well. So, and then how do you get started on church pages? Some of you will be aware of how the process works, but for others of you, this may be entirely new. The first thing to really think about is how you want your site to be designed. And we just have a few options really, because we want to keep it fairly simple about how to get started. But it's really depending on where your church is at and what your church needs. So if you go choose a design option, you'll see that actually on our church pages site, we outline a few different options. One is if you already had a church designer. If you've got somebody in-house, we'd love to work with them. But we more often than not find that churches don't actually have anybody in their immediate church that can help with this. So actually we offer our junior designers and senior designers, or you can opt for something that's a design template. And these are a really popular way to get a very clean look at a fraction of the cost. We just try and make it fairly affordable for people to get started. And so you can see just the design templates on the church pages website. So it really does start with just a choice about what you want your design to be like. And then after that, it's just a case of filling in the application form. You see on our site, there is a church pages application form. The reason we have this is for us to just keep track of what your original choices were over design, and just to learn a bit more about you as we start the process. And once that form's filled in, you'll get an email from one of our team just asking you for more information about your church. What we'll need typically is a lot of imagery and copy for each of the pages, because you'll notice within the design templates, if we go back to those, you can actually click through them and have a look at them, but you'll see they just contain a lot of content, really. So you have to write about your church, you have to write about your team. If you have sermons already, we'll just need to have those. And if there's any other information you want to give people, it's good to start writing that as well. The advice we give people when writing a website is write as if you're writing for somebody you'd want to invite to your church. What would be the first things you want to say to them? What would be the most important thing? And how can you write with that feel of being welcoming and open? So it's all considerations when you're writing your site. Our team are on hand as well if you want to go and just ask them questions about how to write. And sometimes what we'll do is just work with churches to help that they get the right feel across, because we know it can be hard to go and convey everything about your church in just a few pages. So let's head back to our slides. So those are the 3 steps: choosing a design option, making an application, and supplying us with branding, images, and copy. And there is a link on this slide just to more information within the church page website. We do have a whole page that talks through the process. I think it is more than three steps. This is, I think, about 7. But it does give you more information about how it works with us. And if you are going for a designed option, you will be spoken through the process of getting a mock-up, sending your copy, getting trained, and then additionally how to go live at the end, because it's just important for you to know what's coming. So let's head back here. So finally, just to go in our last 10 minutes or so, just to look at our vision and why we're doing what we're doing. Church Pages is an initiative from the owners of iPages, and iPages is a content management system that's used by businesses nationwide to manage their website and business online. But the owners decided to take the software and seek to sort of bless churches through providing the software on a contribution-only website hosting basis. And it really actually came out of a few different verses. The one that's on the slides here is just from Acts. It talks about how in Acts, what was modelled was a church where there wasn't any needy people among them, because the owners of land sold them and bought the proceeds and put it at the apostles' feet. There was this idea that they lived in such community that they were able to share all of their resources. And the other verse that really struck us was in Leviticus, when it talks about the principles of gleaning and how actually when you have a bit of land, you should leave part of it to be gleaned by the poor within society, which meant that the poor were able to go and find food just through the generosity of landowners. And the owners of iPages were just struck by how actually that inbuilt into the model of business was this idea of generosity and giving from what you've got. So what we have is a whole bunch of software and wisdom about how to go and be online. And so what we want to do is make that available to people within the kingdom to benefit from and use, because we know that actually it can be more efficient than us just giving to our church. This is us giving of what we've got. And we just really like people to partner with our vision. We'd love more churches to be involved. And we ask that churches that are able to give just really consider how they would like to contribute to what we're doing to help churches who perhaps aren't in a place to go and contribute towards their website hosting. Because software and hosting does cost money, but we are convicted that it is part of us serving the kingdom to provide it on a contribution-only basis, and just invite you to join in with what we're doing. We love partnering with churches, and it's part of our joy just to go and see more and more churches benefiting from software that helps them be found online. So we'd love it if you just want to help and join in with that. So now a bit of time for Q&A. If you have any questions, please just enter them into the little chat box and we'll be able to look at them and just talk them through. So I'm just going to be quiet for one moment and just wait for questions. Okay, we have a question. How long does it take for a website to be built? That is a very good question. I usually answer, how long is a piece of string? But I know that that's not very helpful because, to be honest, it's a process that's both involves our team and your church team. So it can take years. I've known websites take years, and it can take days and weeks. And it really depends on whether you've got the content available and just the agreement within your church. We tend to find that it is the collating of images and copy that takes at least a few weeks for a church, and then just the process of approving a mock-up can take a few weeks as well. But for us, I mean, we tend to say about 6 to 8 weeks. But I'll be honest, it varies per church, and if you have a particular deadline in mind, let us know, and we'll work our hardest towards that. So that's a very good question. Thank you. Any more? Okay, if there's no more questions, we'll just skip on to the summary. So just to review what we were going to cover within the session, we were going to seek to understand the Church Pages system, some of the key features and how it could work for your church. So we've looked at that, we looked at the Church Pages backend, we looked at how that you can edit content, upload a sermon, and then we just talked through some of the other different features available. We looked through how to make simple changes to a web page, uploading a sermon. And then finally, the third point, we talked a bit about the vision of Church Pages and where to find shareable resources. Actually, everything is on the Church Pages website. So if you just go to churchpages.co.uk, it has information about our vision, why we're doing what we're doing, how you can get involved on a contribution basis. It has information about how to get started, and all the links are within this presentation as well, so you can receive that afterwards. So I do hope that's been helpful. We're going to draw it to a close there. And if you have any other questions, just let us know. I'm Catherine at churchpages.co.uk, and just happy to answer any questions you have. But thank you for your time, and I hope the rest of your Tuesday goes really well. Bye-bye.